dumped my fiancée after she sent me to jail on false charges to defend her alcoholic friend. Man, I just need to vent. You know when everything seems fine, but then it just isn't? So, I'm 28, and I was engaged to this girl, Emma. She's 25, and we've been together for 5 years now. We even got engaged like 2 weeks ago. I thought everything was going smooth, you know? But wow, things turned upside down in a way I did not expect. So, about 3 weeks ago, I come home from work. It was a long-ass day, and I was exhausted. You know how it is. I just wanted to chill, maybe watch something, relax. Anyway, I walk in, and Emma's sitting at the dining table with her buddy, Dan. Now, Dan's been around forever. Like, they've been friends since they were little kids or whatever, so I don't think anything of it. I kiss Emma on the cheek, say hi, and give Dan a fist bump. I ask if he's doing okay, just being polite, right? Dan's not one to turn down chilling, but this time, he just looks all serious and says, "Nah, man, I'm good. I actually need to talk to you about something." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, this must be serious." I look at Emma, and she's got this kind of serious face on too. So I sit down with them, like, "All right, what's going on?" Emma then says, "Dan's going through a rough time." She starts explaining that Dan lost his job and his place to live, and now he's got nowhere to go. You know, typical sob story. I mean, I felt bad for the guy, but I'm thinking, what's this got to do with me? Then, she drops it on me. I was thinking maybe Dan could stay with us for a few weeks, just until he gets back on his feet. Now listen, I'm not heartless. I've known Dan a while, and it's not like I have anything against the guy. So I said, yeah, it's cool. But I made it clear. I told him straight up. As long as you help out around the house, it's fine. Just don't make a mess and contribute when you can. He seemed super grateful, like he even got up and gave me a big hug, thanking me over and over. The first week, it was fine, like totally fine. Dan was keeping to himself mostly, and he was even doing chores. It was actually kind of nice to have someone else around to help out with stuff, and he didn't complain or anything. We'd watch some TV and everything seemed chill. I was even thinking, man, maybe this won't be so bad after all. But then, man, things started going downhill. Fast. The second week, I start noticing stuff around the apartment. Little things, but they add up, you know? Like his dirty clothes would just be lying around. Not just in his room, but like in the living room, under the couch cushions, socks, shirts, whatever. And it started to get annoying, so I talked to him being all polite about it. "Hey man, can you clean up after yourself a bit more? This is still our place, you know?" He apologized, said he was sorry, promised to do better. I figured that was the end of it, but nope, things got worse. Fast forward a few days, I'm going to the bathroom one morning and, not to be gross, but the toilet was nasty. There was dried up vomit on the seat, like he had puked and didn't even bother cleaning up. I couldn't believe it. Who does that? At this point, I'm realizing something's off with Dan. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but I started noticing more and more. His room started to stink, and his attitude shifted. He was always tired, moody, just off. I confronted Emma about it, asking if she's noticed, and she brushes it off like it's no big deal. "He's going through a rough time," she kept saying. "Yeah, okay, but so are we if he's trashing the place." And then, it got to the point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. I came home from work one day, and I swear the whole apartment smelled bad. I could already feel my blood boiling as I walked down the hallway to the guest room, knowing exactly what I was about to find. I barged into the room, and there's Dan, just lying on the bed. The place was a mess, clothes everywhere. And the smell, man, it was like he hadn't cleaned the room in days. I completely lost it. I started yelling at him, telling him he needed to clean up, contribute, or he's out. No more playing nice. I gave him 2 days to clean up his act or leave. Emma, of course, tries to calm me down, saying I'm overreacting, but I wasn't having it. I'd been patient enough, and he was totally taking advantage of the situation. And you know what he does? Instead of apologizing, this guy stands up, and I swear, he just lunges at me. Like out of nowhere, full-on attacks me. I didn't even have time to react. Next thing I know, I'm slammed into the wall, and everything goes black. When I came to, there were flashing lights everywhere. It took me a second to realize it wasn't a dream. 2 cops were standing over me, one shining a flashlight right in my face, and I could hear Emma's voice in the background. I tried to sit up, but my head was pounding like crazy, and I felt so disoriented. The cop helps me up and I ask, "What the hell's going on?" He tells me that they got a call from Emma saying I'd gotten violent and attacked her and Dan. I'm like, what the hell? I attacked them. That didn't even make sense. But they weren't interested in my side of the story. They grabbed me, dragged me outside, and all I could see was Emma and Dan talking to the cops like they were the victims. I barely remember getting into the squad car, but I do remember looking at Emma, and she wouldn't even look at me. She just stood there next to Dan, looking all upset, like I was the problem. I felt like I was living in some nightmare. Everything was a blur after that. I don't even remember much of the drive to the station. All I know is I ended up in a holding cell, my head pounding, not sure how the hell this all went down so fast. So there I was, sitting in the holding cell, head pounding, trying to figure out what the hell just happened. I still couldn't believe it. One minute I'm in my own home, and the next, I'm getting hauled away like a criminal. I kept replaying the scene in my head. Emma called the cops on me? For what? Because I told Dan to clean up his act or leave? None of it made sense. I was stuck in that damn cell for hours. Nobody told me anything, and the whole time I was just stewing in my anger. I couldn't stop thinking about how I was the one who got knocked out, yet somehow I was the bad guy. When they finally let me go, they acted like they were doing me a favor. "You're lucky we're not pressing charges," one of the cops said. Charges? For what? I didn't even do anything. Anyway, I called my dad to come pick me up. I wasn't about to go back to the apartment just yet. I needed some time to cool down and process everything. My dad, of course, had a million questions, but I wasn't ready to talk about it yet. All I told him was that I needed a ride and that Emma and Dan had basically turned on me. He could tell something serious had gone down, but he didn't push. The whole drive, my mind was racing. How could Emma do this to me? We've been together for 5 years, 5 damn years, and she pulls this? It wasn't like we had some perfect fairy tale relationship or whatever, but I thought we were solid. This wasn't just some minor argument. This was betrayal, pure and simple. She had my back for 5 years, and now suddenly Dan shows up, and she sides with him? Over me? I just couldn't wrap my head around it. When I got back to my dad's place, I crashed on the couch. I didn't have the energy to explain everything yet, and honestly, I didn't even know how to. What was I supposed to say? "Oh, hey, Dad, guess what? My fiancée called the cops on me because her loser friend decided to throw me into a wall." Yeah, that would go over well. After a couple of days, I decided I needed to get my stuff from the apartment. I wasn't planning on sticking around to have another confrontation with Emma. I was done with her. But of course, when I get there, she's sitting on the couch like nothing happened. I swear my blood was boiling the second I saw her. She had the nerve to try and act all sad, with her eyes red and puffy like she'd been crying nonstop. But to me, it was just an act. Before I could even say anything, she jumps up and starts talking, trying to explain herself. "Joe, please, just listen to me. I didn't know what else to do. Dan was panicking, and I cut her off right there. I don't want to hear it, Emma. You had a choice, and you chose Dan. Over me. What else is there to say?" She kept begging, but I was done. I told her to pack her stuff and leave. I didn't even care about the details anymore. I just wanted her out of my life. She tried pulling the whole, "but I still love you" card. But at that point, it didn't mean anything to me. Love doesn't involve calling the cops on your partner and lying to protect someone else. That's not love. That's betrayal. It took everything in me not to lose my cool again. I mean, seriously, how does someone you trust for 5 years turn on you like that? I had spent so much time thinking we were building something real, something solid, but clearly I was wrong. I told her to get her stuff and get out, and she did, but not without trying to plead her case a million more times. Once she was gone, I thought maybe I'd feel some relief. Like, okay, the toxic part of this situation is out of the picture. But honestly, I just felt empty. I sat there, in my own apartment, wondering how the hell it all fell apart so quickly. I started doubting everything, our entire relationship, the engagement, all of it. Had she been lying to me this whole time? Was Dan always more important than me? Then a few days later, Emma started blowing up my phone again. At first I ignored it, but after the 50th missed call, I figured I'd hear what she had to say. She's crying again, telling me how she's sorry, how she didn't mean for any of this to happen. She told me she panicked when Dan knocked me out and that she didn't want him to get in trouble because he was already on probation. Apparently, they thought it would be easier to lie and say I was the one who attacked them. Yeah, because that makes so much sense, right? I didn't even know what to say to that. Easier? Easier for who? It sure as hell wasn't easier for me. I spent the night in jail because of their lies. I got knocked unconscious in my own home and somehow I'm the bad guy? She tried to explain how it was all just a mistake, how they panicked in the moment. But honestly, I didn't care anymore. I hung up on her after that. I couldn't listen to any more of her excuses. I didn't want to hear about how she didn't mean to hurt me. Because at the end of the day, she did hurt me. And the worst part, she didn't even seem to realize how deep that cut went. That night, I got hit with the worst headache I've ever had. I was throwing up, dizzy, couldn't even stand up without feeling like I was going to pass out. So I went to the hospital, and guess what? Concussion. They told me I'd probably been concussed the night Dan knocked me out, but because I didn't get checked out right away, I made it worse by not resting. So now I'm stuck at home for at least a month, and all I can do is think about what a mess my life has become. I lost my fiancée, my trust in someone I thought I loved, and now I'm physically wrecked because of the whole thing. And the cherry on top? Emma keeps trying to come over, leaving messages saying she wants to talk. But what is there to talk about? She made her choice. She lied to protect Dan. Now I'm just here trying to figure out how the hell to move forward from this. Do I completely ghost her? Do I give her the closure she's begging for? Part of me wants to just disappear and never hear from her again. But another part of me, the part that still loves her, can't help but feel like I need to do something. But what? Update 1. It's been about a week since everything went down. I've been stuck at home, recovering from this damn concussion. And let me tell you, being trapped in your own head with nothing but your thoughts and a messed up relationship to dwell on is not the kind of rest I needed. So Emma's still been trying to reach out like constantly. It's getting ridiculous. I've got messages from her mom, her sister, all saying how sorry she is and how she just wants to see me and explain everything. But at this point, what's left to explain? She already told me the worst of it, right? But every time I ignore her, I feel this weird pit in my stomach. Like I'm questioning if maybe I'm making the wrong call. You ever get that feeling where you know something's the right move, but it still eats at you? Anyway, a few days ago, I get this text from her mom, and this is where things take a pretty messed up turn. Her mom tells me Emma tried to overdose on painkillers. Yeah, I know. That hit me like a brick. She said Emma was in the hospital and that she was asking to see me. My first reaction? Honestly, I felt guilty. I mean, I ghosted her for a week straight, and now she's in the hospital. But then the anger kicked in. Was this another way to get sympathy? I know that sounds harsh, but after what she did, lying to the cops, throwing me under the bus for Dan of all people, I couldn't help but question everything she says or does now. I kept thinking, is this just some play to make me feel like I'm the one at fault? Or was she really at that low point? I didn't text her mom back right away. I just sat there, phone in hand, staring at the message. My mind was going a million miles an hour. A part of me wanted to rush to the hospital to check on her, see if she was okay, but another part of me, the part that's still pissed and hurt, wanted to stay as far away from that whole mess as possible. What would even happen if I went? Would it just be another round of excuses and I didn't mean to from Emma? Or would I find out that she really was sorry, that she really did hit rock bottom? So I talked to my mom. She's been staying with me while I recover, helping me out and all that. She's been amazing through this whole thing, honestly. She asked me how I was feeling, and I straight up told her about the text from Emma's mom. And you know what my mom said? She told me I needed to think long and hard before making any decisions, that I should be careful with whatever move I make next. But she also reminded me that Emma's actions have consequences, that what she did wasn't just a little mistake, it was something huge, and it nearly ruined my life. She told me that if I do decide to see her, I need to be sure I'm ready for whatever comes next. It's not just a visit, it's a choice that could open up old wounds and drag me right back into the chaos I'm trying to escape from. That's the part that got me. My mom's always been the rational one, and when she said that, I knew she was right. I wasn't ready to face Emma again. Not yet. Not when I'm still piecing my life back together. So I decided to stay home, ignore the texts, and keep focusing on healing, physically and mentally. But it's not that easy. Every day I wake up and check my phone, wondering if I'm going to get another update from her mom, wondering if Emma's okay, if she's still in the hospital, or if she's moved on from this whole thing. I keep thinking back to all the good times we had, the 5 years we spent together before everything fell apart. It's like this constant battle in my head between what I know I should do and what my heart still feels for her. Then, yesterday something else happened. Out of the blue, Dan sends me a message. Can you believe that? After everything, this guy has the nerve to text me. I almost threw my phone across the room when I saw his name pop up. But instead, I opened the message. It was short and to the point. Hey man, I'm sorry for what happened. I didn't mean to hurt you, and I hope you can forgive me. Forgive him? I read that message over and over, and all I could think was, are you kidding me? This dude knocked me out, got me arrested, and now he wants my forgiveness? For what? Because he didn't mean to hurt me? What does that even mean? You don't accidentally ram someone into a wall and leave them unconscious. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. I didn't respond. I couldn't. There was nothing I could say to him that wouldn't just make me even angrier. So I blocked his number and tried to move on. But his message still bugs me. It's like he's trying to get off the hook with a half-assed apology, like that'll somehow make everything okay again. And Emma? She's still out there, waiting for me to reach out, waiting for me to come to the hospital and see her. And I'm just here, stuck in the middle of this whole mess, trying to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do next. Do I let them back into my life, or do I walk away for good? Because right now, all I feel is this mix of anger, sadness, and, yeah, I'll admit it, guilt. As much as I don't want to admit it, I still care about Emma. And that's the hardest part. I can't just switch that off, even after everything she's done. But caring about her doesn't change what happened. It doesn't change the fact that she lied to the cops and put me in jail. It doesn't change the fact that Dan, her so-called friend, attacked me in my own home, and she did nothing to stop it. And it sure as hell doesn't change the fact that I'm sitting here, alone, with a concussion while they get to move on with their lives. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I've got no clue what the next step is, but I know one thing for sure. I'm not rushing back into anything. I've been burned once and I'm not about to let it happen again. But damn, man, I just wish things didn't have to be this complicated. Update 2. Alright, so things took another wild turn. I thought I was done dealing with all this crap, but guess what? Turns out, life had other plans. I've been lying low, trying to figure out what to do next. I mean, the whole situation still has me all twisted up. But just when I thought I could get some peace, another bomb drops. Not literally, but you get what I mean. A few days after Dan's pathetic apology, I'm at home, minding my own business, trying to recover. My head still isn't right from the concussion, and every little thing feels like a damn chore. You know how it is when you're stuck at home with nothing to do but overthink everything. So I'm sitting there and my phone starts buzzing again. At first I was like, nope, not dealing with this. But then I see the name on the screen. It wasn't Emma, her mom, or Dan. It was someone I wasn't expecting at all. It was Emma's sister, Lucy. Now, Lucy and I have never been super close. We got along fine, but she wasn't really part of my life outside of family get-togethers or holidays. So, for her to text me out of the blue? Yeah, that raised a red flag. I open the message and it says something like, "Hey Joe, I need to talk to you. It's about Emma. Please don't ignore me." I wasn't in the mood for more drama, but Lucy wasn't the type to stir things up just for the sake of it. So I text her back telling her I'm listening. She hits me with this whole long message about how Emma's not doing well at all, how the overdose wasn't just a cry for help or some ploy to get attention. She tells me Emma's been in a really dark place since I cut her off, and she's barely eating, barely talking to anyone. Apparently she's seeing a therapist now, and things aren't looking good. I don't know what to do with that information. I mean, yeah, I feel bad, obviously. I don't want to see anyone, let alone someone I spent 5 years with, go through something like that. But at the same time, I keep thinking back to what Emma did. It's not like I can just forget the whole thing and go back to how things were. That's not how it works. Lucy's message keeps going on about how Emma's been trying to make amends, how she's regretting everything and that she really needs to talk to me. I'm sitting there staring at my phone, wondering if maybe I should just give her a chance to explain herself. But every time I think about it, I remember how betrayed I felt, how she chose Dan over me in the moment that mattered most. That's not something you can easily get past. So I ask Lucy straight up, "Do you think she's being genuine, or is this just another way to get sympathy?" I know it sounds harsh, but after everything, I had to ask. Lucy responds pretty quickly saying, "I've never seen her like this, Joe. She's not faking it. She's really struggling, and I think she's realized how much she messed up." That hit me harder than I expected. Like, maybe she really does regret everything, but even if she does that change anything? Can you really forgive someone after something like this? I'm still not sure. So I told Lucy I needed some time to think, and she said she understood, but she hopes I'll talk to Emma soon. Here's the thing. Part of me wants to see her. I want to hear her out, see if she's really sorry or if it's just more excuses. But the other part of me is like, dude, why would you put yourself through that again? I've been going back and forth with myself ever since I got that message. It's like I'm stuck in this loop of wanting to move on, but also feeling like I need some kind of closure. So I tried to distract myself. I went out for a walk, hoping some fresh air would clear my head. But of course, as I'm walking, I run into Dan. Because of course, I do. This guy has the worst timing ever. He's standing there like he's been waiting for me or something. I thought about just walking right past him, but he calls out, "Joe, wait!" Against my better judgment, I stopped. I didn't want another confrontation, but I wasn't about to run away like a coward either. Dan comes up to me, and before I can even say anything, he starts talking. He's all like, "Look, man, I know you hate me right now, and I get it. I really screwed up. But I just want to explain myself." I didn't really want to hear his excuses, but I let him talk anyway. He goes on about how he was going through a rough time, how losing his job and getting kicked out of his place messed with his head. He admits that he was out of line, that attacking me was the worst thing he could have done, and that he's been trying to figure out how to make it right. But then, he drops something I wasn't expecting. He tells me that he and Emma haven't spoken since the night I got arrested. Apparently, after I kicked her out, she cut off contact with him too. Dan looked genuinely upset when he told me this, like he actually cared about her and didn't know what to do now that she wasn't speaking to him. I didn't know what to make of it. I mean, on one hand, good. Emma finally realized Dan's a toxic presence in her life. But on the other hand, why didn't she realize that sooner? Why did it take all this chaos for her to see what kind of person Dan really is? I didn't say much to Dan. I just told him, "You can't fix this. What's done is done." He looked defeated, like he knew I was right but didn't want to accept it. He said he was sorry again and walked off, leaving me standing there with even more questions than I started with. So now I'm left with this mess. Emma's apparently in a really dark place. Dan's out of the picture. And I'm here, trying to figure out if I should reach out to her or just keep moving on. I don't know what the right thing to do is. Every time I think I've made a decision, something else comes up, and I'm back to square one. It's like, do I want to risk getting hurt again? Or do I just let it all go and focus on myself? I've been trying to weigh the pros and cons, but no matter what, there's no easy answer. Either way, someone gets hurt, whether it's me, Emma, or both of us. So yeah, that's where I'm at, stuck in limbo, unsure of what to do next. Part of me thinks I should just cut ties completely and move on with my life. But another part of me feels like I need to see this through, to find out if Emma really has changed. It's a mess, man, a real mess, and I have no idea how to get out of it. Update 3. So after that run-in with Dan and Lucy's message about Emma, I spent the next couple of days just sitting in my apartment, trying to clear my head. Every time I thought I had things figured out, I'd get stuck again, second-guessing myself. Honestly, it was driving me insane. But then, something happened that I wasn't expecting. Emma reached out to me directly, again. But this time, she sent me a long text instead of calling or showing up at my door. I wasn't sure if I should open it. I stared at my phone for a good 5 minutes, just trying to decide if I even wanted to read it. But curiosity got the best of me, and I opened it. Her message started off with an apology. A real one this time. Not just one of those, I'm sorry, but types of apologies. She said she knew she messed up in ways she couldn't fix. She admitted that choosing Dan over me in that moment was the biggest mistake of her life, and that she doesn't expect me to forgive her. Then she went on to say how lost she's been since everything went down, how she's been trying to make sense of it all, but she realizes now that no amount of excuses can change what happened. I could tell this wasn't some half-assed apology. She was laying it all out there, telling me how she's been going to therapy, trying to figure out why she acted the way she did, and how she's working on herself. Emma said she didn't want to hurt me anymore, and that she wasn't reaching out to beg for me back. She just needed to say her piece. She ended the message by saying she hoped one day I could at least understand why she did what she did, but that she knew we might never be okay again. After reading it, I had to sit down for a minute and just breathe. It's weird, you know? Getting an apology like that after everything that's happened. Part of me felt relieved, like maybe I could finally let go of some of the anger I'd been holding on to. But another part of me was still like, is this enough? Does this really change anything? I didn't respond right away. I needed to think. I mean, yeah, it was a good apology. But did that mean I was ready to talk to her again? Was I ready to open that door? Because once you open it, you can't just close it again, right? That's when things get complicated. Anyway, later that night, I talked to my mom about it. I hadn't told her about the latest text yet, so I filled her in on everything Emma had said. My mom's reaction surprised me a little. She didn't immediately jump to, "You should forgive her," or "You should move on." Instead, she told me something that stuck with me. She said, "Joe, sometimes people do terrible things, but that doesn't mean they're terrible people. You have to decide if this is something you can move past, not for her sake, but for your own." And that got me thinking. I wasn't just holding on to the anger because I didn't want to forgive Emma. I was holding on to it because part of me was scared of what would happen if I did. Like, if I let go of that anger, what's left? How do you move forward when the thing that's been driving you for weeks is suddenly gone? So I sat with that for a while. I didn't respond to Emma's text for a couple of days. I kept reading it over and over, trying to figure out how I felt. And then, one night, something clicked. I realized I wasn't mad anymore. Like, sure, I was still hurt, and I don't think that's going away anytime soon. But the anger? It was gone. I wasn't burning with it like I had been before. It was weird, honestly. I didn't expect to feel that shift, but there it was. That's when I decided to respond to Emma. I kept it short, but I was honest. I told her I appreciated the apology, that I could tell she was being genuine, and that I hoped she was serious about working on herself. I said I didn't know what the future held for us, but that I wasn't ready to completely cut her off. I didn't promise anything. I just left the door cracked open a bit. Her response came almost immediately. She thanked me, said it meant more than I knew, and that she wasn't expecting anything from me. She just wanted me to know she was trying to do better. And honestly, that was enough for me right then. I wasn't ready to dive back into anything, but at least it felt like things were starting to settle. Like maybe, just maybe, I could start to move forward. But just when I thought I had some peace, the universe threw another wrench into things. Out of nowhere, I get a message from Dan. Yep, Dan again. This time, though, it wasn't some half apology or plea for forgiveness. No, this time he sent me this long, rambling message about how he and Emma had been seeing each other behind my back for a while. He said he didn't want to carry the secret anymore, that he felt like he needed to come clean. I couldn't believe it. I mean, yeah, I had my suspicions when everything went down, but to have it confirmed, it was like getting punched in the gut all over again. I sat there, staring at my phone, reading his words over and over. They'd been messing around while I was at work, while I was busting my ass to make sure we had a roof over our heads. And she had the nerve to play the victim, to beg for my forgiveness after everything? At that moment, everything shifted again. The anger came flooding back. Not just at Emma, but at myself too. How had I been so blind? How had I let them both make a fool out of me like that? I didn't respond to Dan. I couldn't. What was the point? But I did send Emma one final text. It wasn't long, and I didn't sugarcoat anything. I told her I knew about her and Dan, that I knew they'd been lying to me for who knows how long, and that I was done. Really done this time. I told her I didn't need any more explanations or apologies. I just wanted her out of my life for good. She didn't respond. Not that night, not the next day, not ever. And honestly, I think that's for the best. Sometimes things get so broken that there's no fixing them. And I guess this was one of those times. So, yeah, that's where I'm at now. It's over. For real this time. No more what ifs, no more second chances, just me moving forward one step at a time.